What is up, everyone? I've got a fun deck for you today. It's some dirty Atraxa, baby. You know you love it. Um, I didn't have a lot of cards, so I wanted to show folk how you could play this deck on the cheap. Basically, teach you some concepts that are important for these big spend decks, and then showcase what it could do. A couple of things I don't have though before we get into it that could be really helpful. There are other cards that do this, but in standard, Cruelty of Gix is probably the best, where you can do read ahead, get all the way up to number 3, and do put a target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So it can be from either graveyard. So when you're up in mirror, you could just try to get one of theirs. And so this could be really good for getting it out of the graveyard, especially since it only costs 5 to spend this one. And it costs 7 to spend for either Atali or for Atraxa. So just that's something I did want to point out that I don't have that would be helpful. Both of them are really good. So a couple of things about Atraxa. Number one, when Atraxa Grand Unifier enters the battle, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hands. They're still revealed, opponent will know what they are, but you'll have them all. And I regularly get 5 of these, usually at least 4. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Artifact, battle, creature, enchantment, instant, land, planeswalker, and sorcery are card types. So you have 8 options. We do have all of them in this deck, so you're going to get lots of different things with them. So a few things about this deck that I think are really important. Number one, buying Jetmir's Gardens and other rare type land cards is really important. Let's just go rare, mythic rare. Ooh, that's a dope plains card. I guess it's just like a rare thing for it. Those are cool. Anyway, not really all that helpful, but you know, it exists or whatever. Like you can take Argoth or Boseiju. I don't think that they're all that valuable here because the basic cards are really important. But what you can grab are like Raphine's Tower. So those are going to give you 3 mana types. I would say if you can, you would probably, if you want to go for the cheap, I would get like ones that don't cover each other. So I'm looking for like black and blue on a different cards, like Xander's Lounge and Jetmir's would be good. That would give me full mountain coverage. I only have 2 other mountains here, but that gives me 4 total mountains between these ones. And then musts. I really wish I could have more Topiary Stompers. These are rare, so I only was able to afford 1. That's all I had. But Invasion of Zendikar will also get you the same equivalent play here, which is just pushing out lands cards onto the board, getting as many lands cards out as possible, and also getting them out of your deck. This has 2 main benefits. 1, it thins your deck, and 2, it's going to get your lands out that you need to do other things with. So Invasion of Zendikar, Topiary Stomper, really good for that. Yanwar Lone Speaker is also going to get you an equivalent value here in that you're able to add a mana of any color when you tap him. Not my favorite way of doing it. Some other people use like Courier's Briefcase. Let's go reset. Oh, I know there aren't that many Couriers. Courier's Briefcase. You create a 1/1 green-white citizen creature token, so you can use them just to like sack it on a defend. And then you can sacrifice the briefcase to add a mana of any color. If you have all 5 cards out, you can also draw 3 cards, which is helpful. So this is actually pretty good. I actually think I'm going to swap this for Lone Speaker. Yeah, those are pretty good. I'm actually going to swap for Thirst for Discovery too. So Thirst for Discovery is better when you have Cruelty of Gix because it's going to discard 1 land card or 2 other cards. So you could discard Atraxa and then play Cruelty of Gix and play it from your graveyard. Why it only costs, maybe the equivalent of 6 mana on turn 6 instead of 7 mana on turn 7. or like turn 5, depending on if you get like doubles end of card or something. I can't. I'm just giving examples. I'm not going to give you like exact countdowns of what could happen each round. And then I like cut down Infernal Grass. I think I would just take like a bunch of cut downs, candidly. Infernal Grass is pretty helpful sometimes. But both these are nice just because this deck can be a little slow. And so being able to wipe off big threats early can be really helpful, especially against red. Shieldred Apocalypse, Shieldred are just two of the best cards in the game. If you're taking all the colors, you might as well use both of them. They are both extremely strong. I feel like I don't really need to explain those. Nail is going to give you a domain, which is I'm basically taking all the domain cards I have that work well in this deck. So domain are going to be like Leyline Binding is really strong. Need a fourth one of these. I don't know. I only had 3, and then I must have gotten one somehow. Slimefoots is too expensive. If this was 3 mana, I would say like, yeah, use Slimefoots. It's really good. But it doesn't. Some of these other ones are kind of lame, like Sunbathing Rothwalla. You give you 5/5, which isn't bad. It's also not great considering that it costs 2 mana to play and 4 mana to activate that ability. Weather Seed is actually pretty decent. I really like Joda's Codex. Rada can be good. Briar Hydra is a little bit better, but none of these were like super great for me. I really do like Nail though because she's going to give you lands cards, especially when maybe you might be missing them. And then if you have all 5, so if you have the full domain, all 5 basic land types among lands you control, you can draw a card instead of just looking at it and putting it on the top. So she's just going to give you draws. And she's flying 2/4, so she's useful. And then Joda's Codex is freaking dope. I don't know. This card I could actually make more of them. I might do that. But we're kind of just playing this on the cheap, showing you, I just have these random cards, and here's what I did with them. And you should use your creativity to do the same. But your Joda's Codex, if you have all 5 types, is going to give you a draw card for free every turn. Because its cost is reduced by 1. So if you only have 4 types, you just pay 1 and you draw a card, right? So even then, it's still a pretty good deal to get a draw. And there's no other disadvantage. You don't have to discard. You don't have to do anything else. You're just drawing cards. So that can be really clutch. And it's not legendary, so you could have all 4 of them on the board, just giving you 4 draws every turn. Chandra Hope's Beacon and Breach the Multiverse together are pretty dope companions in that she will play it twice. So that's fun. She is also just super helpful. Like Chandra Hope's Beacon is really, really good. You get the 2 mana for +2, +1. You get those 5 exiled cards that you can play the next turn as well. I don't have that many instant or sorceries in this deck, so I don't find that entirely helpful. But the -X to do X damage to up to 2 targets can kill 2 invasions of Zendikars and get you 2 awakened Skyclaves for just -3 on her. So she'll still have 2 loyalty, and you can get 4 the next turn by adding 2 mana of any combination of colors. But honestly, the damage alone just makes it worth playing her. She's a great threat. The other opponents will spend really hard to remove her because she is such an important threat, being able to copy instants and sorceries when you play them. Atali is dope. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain Atali. You've all probably seen him, but he's going to basically exile cards from your deck and the opponent's deck until there's one that can be played. So like a non-land card. And then you're going to play both of those cards. You can also spend 9 mana and a Phyrexian green. So you can pay 2 life or a green and turn them into Primal Sickness. So 11/11, trample indestructible. Whenever Atali Primal Sickness deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. So Primal Sickness is absolutely ridiculous. Like the card is already pretty broken, but Primal Sickness just makes it stupid broken. Herd Migration, I wish I had more of these. It's a great way to just like get mana, but you can also get 5 of these 3/3 beasts. That's just helpful as defenders, attackers. I mean, it's a very flexible card. This one's really strong. And then I really like Portal to Phyrexia. I wish I had Cruelty of Gix to get this out earlier because it does cost 9. but it'll kill 3 of the opponent's creatures, and then every turn you get to pull one out of the graveyard and put it on the battlefield under your control. That's either graveyard, and it's Phyrexian Edition. I don't really care about that. That matters more when you're playing like white Phyrexians and getting like that. I forget what it is, but there's one that gives them vigilance. There's another one I think it gives them like double strike or first strike, so that can be helpful for those. Green Sun's Twilight is a little slept on. I really like this one, especially if the X is 5 or more. So it's just 6 mana to put up to 1 creature card and or a land card from among those 5 cards you look at, and you can put them directly onto the board. I don't actually think they go on to... Yeah, and they don't come on tapped. So this, especially to just grab a specific unit, can be really good. Vorniclex would be another one here. I don't think I own Vorniclex. Yeah, I don't. Probably spelling him wrong. I don't know why. Vorinclex. That's why. But he would be really good here too because you're grabbing 2 of those forest cards. So Bow Sage will give you the same result. But I would nominally, the only other thing I think that would be super fun in this deck, and it might not work because it might just be too big, is to just get at least one of all the Praetors and then do Realm Breaker and get all the Praetors down. I mean, it costs 10 mana, but it's pretty broken. Just being able to steal the opponent's manas for only 2 is pretty good. I've actually thought about just adding this just to steal mana. But after you get to a certain threshold, you do have enough cards, you draw enough that it's usually worth just playing your own stuff instead of trying to take the opponent's things in this deck, in my opinion. Gix would be another one he's just excellent. Gix is just really good. Anyway, that's kind of the intro here. Let's jump in and show you a little how it works. Hold for that intro. We'll just do one game. We'll keep it a little fresh, keep it a little light. I already spent 10 minutes explaining how the deck works. But this is a rather complex deck, and if you're somebody who wants to see more gameplay, come hang out with me on streams. I will be streaming today. This isn't a bad combo for Leyline. You do need a minimum of 3 mana to make this deck work. Having Breach in hand with Zendikar feels pretty good. I need 1 more mana in order to activate Zendikar, so I'm going to have... I'm second, so I'm going to have 4 chances to draw before this gets played, so... that feels pretty doable to me, but we'll find out. Oh, and I do love Fiora, by the way. Just being able to wipe everything off the board, especially when you're against things like soldiers. Okay, this, I hate her so much. But we are going to get up to 3 mana. So we'll be able to play this and then this. Unless they play Coppercoat. And this combo is a little broken. We might just be getting knocked out of this one real quick. This is why Topiary can be really important, because after I get my 3 mana, it's helpful to be able to play him down and just get out another mana. We can get rid of him, but that's it. And I don't think that's enough. I think this is 5-6, yeah. Doesn't matter. Game over. Nice thing about long games and short games is if you go up against a short game deck with a long game deck and you just miss your draws like I did there, it's over quick. Sucks if you're trying to climb ladder, but if you're just trying to play standard to try different decks and experience different gameplay loops, it's not so bad. Especially if your daily is 750 play 40 lands. This deck is amazing for that because it's all about lands. It's all about playing those lands. Okay, these are great. Having 3, I wish I had a black, but that's pretty solid, especially since this gets me 2 reds, which gets me into both Chandra and Atali. She's 6 and he's 7. So they kind of ratchet up nicely. Though they don't necessarily play as well together as she does with Breach the Multiverse. Being able to do Breach the Multiverse twice in 1 turn is pretty broken. I'll just play down Jet Mirrors. They're the only ones that come out tapped, so just getting them down can be helpful. I got an island, so I'll be able to play Nail. And this is excellent. So I didn't mention Azusa's, but again, Azusa's is so helpful in being able to play an additional land. Just being able to get down multiple lands in a turn is really important for this deck early on. Otherwise, you can just get outpaced like you saw last game. Oh, I do hate him. Alright, we have enough to do both, so I will. Let's go for Nail. Why did it do that? That's not what I want. Ah, see, this is one of those moments where you really do need to manually activate. Oh, I hate Nazgul so much. Sacrificing a creature, doing a tons of damage, all those things drive me nuts. So you get it back at the end, yeah. I think I'm gonna do her. We'll add 2 mana in any combination and kill both of them.
Stopping tyrants like you is kind of my thing.
Go black.
Have a gift. They won't know what hit them.
I'm guessing that he probably has a kill in black-red, and so I don't want him getting Reaper. Reaper's just annoying to deal with. Now we'll get enough mana next turn to play Atali, so unless he has a discard, we should be fine. And there you go. Another thing about this deck is you'll never actually get to play your payoff because people will just give up because it's very swingy. Like you either get wrecked like we saw the first game or you do the wrecking like we saw in this one. So we'll finish off with one last game so you guys just get a little taste of the panoply of flavor that can be with this deck. And come out for workout streams so you can watch me flex these bad boys. Trying to think if there's any other advice I would give with this deck. I think you just gotta play it, get a feel for it. There are lots of tweaks that you can make to it in order to kind of make it yours. Biggest thing I would look out for is this. Like this looks like a good hand, right? Like, oh, I didn't mention Ikoria. First off, Zalortha's freaking broken. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So it just goes through and does damage to the opponent. It's basically a win, especially if you have it and Atraxa both attacking. It's kind of stupid. But more importantly, the siege part is going to let you spend 7 mana. So you can do 4 for Apocalypse, 5 for regular Shieldred, and get kill one of the opponent's units. Or you can spend 7 to get either Atraxa or Atali, and it's going to play them, right? So it's not just going to add it to your hand, it's going to put it onto the battlefield. So you're basically just having to spend 9 mana in order to get those bigger, more important cards. So that's why it's in here in games that just kind of are knockout, bloody knuckles fight. It can be really... Oh, and after all of that monologuing, the result was supposed to be me saying, this needs to be mulliganed so that you can get 3 mana. So maybe we'll showcase why that needs to happen. I have to draw 2 mana in the 2 turns to play Zendikar. But if I do, I'll be able to play whatever I want. So I guess there's that. I am going to play Azusa's here. I'm not going to draw another mana. So just being able to have a unit on the board, especially against blue, could be really important. Illuminator Virtuoso is pretty good. Alright, well, we did luck out. Okay, and then here what we're going to want to do is one of two things. One, take an extra black so that we can play Apocalypse. That's probably priority number one. And then we want a red and or blue to get domain. So we'll go black, red, because that's usually the more useful of options here. He only has one, so that should be fine. Now we almost have the full deal. Might go red, blue. And this card gets so broken. It's so much fun. Man, getting... Yeah. And it's gonna be too... It'll be too big for Shieldred to stop it just with the... Death touch. Oh, I want Zendikar down. Honestly, I know that feels weird. We can block him with Likeness. But we need to get blue. Let's go blue, red. That way we have two of our clutch colors. Black and red. So we need 2 blacks, 2 greens, 2 reds in order to play all the cards in our deck. Did I just give him flying? They phased for some reason. Just feels strange. Oh, just because they could give him the counters. Oh, man. Like I said, it gets ridiculous. And there's the flying. And it's over. It's a really fun deck to play, though it is dependent on you drawing the Virtuoso. You can mulligan into him. Shieldred would have, like, I needed my Leyline Binding there, but had we gotten Leyline Binding to put away, Shieldred makes that deck suck because it relies on getting a bunch of draws. Hello, Chairman Wu. And so if you don't get those draws, you get screwed because you don't have the cards played. But if you're playing in Shieldred, she's just gonna punish you for all the draws you take. All right, these are great options here. We'll wrap up this last game from this video and put it to YouTube like this. Again, if you want to see more of this deck get played, then I played that wrong, by the way. This needed to be Swamp. But sometimes what you can actually do... So the smart choice there actually would have been to play Forest. I'm just playing this totally wrong. Then Azusa, then the Swamp, because it doesn't come down tapped, and then the Cut Down. But, you know, all be geniuses, so here we are. We can kind of lull him into a false sense of security. Does it do damage? No. It's the other one that does Scamp or something like that. And now we're in this place where we gotta do Zendikar. So we need blue, and I usually go for white. That way I can play Leyline Bindings. And then it's just red. How are you this fine Saturday morning? Yeah, that's a problem. I'm gonna have to take care of this one with an Infernal Grasp. So we'll do this. Let him get an oil counter, that's fine. Oh, I only have one. Interesting. Huh. Just gonna let it go. That's a little... I mean... Yeah, I'm just gonna let it go. I don't want him killing either of these, so... Alrighty. We're at 6 mana, so if we got one more, we could play this. But I would rather wait till I get a red, so that way I get the full 5 of them down. Oh yeah, I forgot your GF loves polo. That's fun though. Okay, we kill this. Then we'll hit Zendikar with... Okay. Good move. Okay. She goes here, this goes here. Oh, I kind of wanted it to be Jet Mirrors, but I think it's got to be Leyline. I could take the... If I played this to get the mountain... That wouldn't be so bad. Yeah, see, this is like... I needed to have... I would hold this. That's... You just spent all your mana, so I know you're not giving anything else. And had you held it, then you would have had... What? 10 damage next turn instead of just 6. I don't need the mana, so we good here. Actually, let's do this. We're gonna go and... she can't. She doesn't draw it. Because I don't have that red... I'm gonna do it. I don't want to, but I'm gonna do it. Come on. Oh, we're giving up. Apparently they've lost all hope. Polo match, though. Anyway, I hope all of you enjoyed this deck. I hope it... Again, you can buy it for just a couple... You just need Breach the Multiverse, Atraxa, and Atali. That's 1 mythic rare, 1... and 2 rares. And everything else you can kind of fill in with the same type of cards. You do need Zendikars, but those are uncommon. So hopefully you have 4 uncommons. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Until next time, good luck out there. Have some fun. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.